The 15-minute city is an urban planning concept that, as its name suggests, aims to create communities where people can access key amenities by traveling no more than 15 minutes on foot or by bike. The concept encourages the development of cities with multiple centers, with offices, shops, restaurants, and entertainment placed locally, reducing the need to drive. It does this through policy and urban interventions. By reducing dependency on vehicles and encouraging active travel, it aims to both help reduce carbon emissions and air pollution and improve the health.
Where it's no strange occurrence to see people doing their groceries in lederhosen, I was given a crash course in saving my breath for the things I actually meant. But saying what you mean involves unlearning what you think you are meant to say. In my new home, my British indirectness and random displays of casual penitence were met with confusion, and at times, even mild annoyance. And so in Germany, politeness is equated with transparency, direct communication and reliability, not surface-level remorse. You could do this for homework by tomorrow.
Our quality, investigative journalism is a scrutinizing force at a time when the rich and powerful are getting away with more and more. We are independent and have no billionaire owner controlling what we do, so your money directly powers our reporting. Congressional staff delegations are simultaneously incredibly interesting and totally grueling. In order to convince the ethics committee that such trips are not corrupt boondoggles, I had the opportunity to ask dozens of people from around the region. If enough people you have loved transition to a place beyond the living.
Services used to make me feel like I was getting away with something. Cheaper, easier entertainment at the click of a button. No commercials, fewer risks. There's a problem at the heart of subscription entertainment. New Star Wars spin-off and extended Marvel Cinematic Universe show, let alone the critically acclaimed hits that debut every other month on competing platforms. It's even worse in video games. The Xbox Game Pass library grows every week. Online regularly bring classic games from decades ago back into circulation. Games frequently extend beyond that.
Our indigenous leadership put themselves out. We have seen a disgusting no campaign that has been dishonest, that has lied to the Australian people. The Constitution to allow for the establishment of a republic and to add a preamble honoring First Nations people. They called instead for a legally binding treaty between First Nations peoples and the Australian government to be prioritized. I even used to open doors for people and apologize for getting in their way as they made their way past me, while apologizing for simply existing sounds ridiculous.
All 6 states voted no to a proposal to amend the Constitution to recognize First Nations people and create a body for them to advise the government. The referendum, dubbed The Voice, was Australia's first in almost a quarter of a century. With the majority of ballots counted, supporters said that entrenching the Indigenous peoples into the Constitution would unite Australia and usher in a new era. Vote No message, and accused of running a campaign based on misinformation about the effects of the plan. An opposition keen to capitalize on its victory.
The U.S. Justice Department arrested U.S. Navy sailors Jean Chao for illegally transmitting restricted military information to China. In the Southern District of California, Wei's mother allegedly encouraged him to spy for China, and Chinese authorities allegedly provided the 22-year-old sailor for information about Navy ships' weapon capabilities, power structures, potential vulnerabilities, and movements. In a separate case in the Central District of California, Zhao allegedly sent a Chinese intelligence officer operational plans for a large-scale military
Approximately 200 protesters gathered on a tree-lined residential street on Staten Island on Thursday night, many with high-powered flashlights on hand. Who is one of the organizers, conceded in a short interview later on that the decibel level was by design. The organizers wanted to send a deafening message to their new neighbors. He arrived at the protest on Thursday night, which has a rich history of welcoming immigrants, and has recently struggled to get back on its feet economically. Rather than directing anger toward local officials or the broken immigration system,
they cut off members from the outside world and even from each other, creating a dependency relationship while using physical violence and emotional abuse to keep people in line. These techniques can be used by anyone to manipulate others, not just in cults but also in toxic relationships. Roch Thériault was an intelligent and charismatic religious extremist, founded a commune known as the Ant Hill Kids in the woods around Quebec. Thériault had persuaded a dozen. He punished people by breaking their legs or cutting off their toes. He tortured and murdered children.
In a development that Moreno told Dizine was shocking, the concept has become the basis of a conspiracy theory that 15-minute cities form part of a wider plan to restrict people's movement. Although widely debunked, the theory forms the basis for continued criticism of existing traffic-reducing measures in the UK, including low-traffic neighbourhoods, new pedestrian areas, and to propose a lot of different services in our city. As the concept involves encouraging walking and cycling, compared to driving, it can include policies that aim to disincentivize car use.